What is up, soul family members? It's Shani with Healing Elements, and here to present a topic that was suggested to me, a video topic for either podcast or my YouTube channel. This was from a commenter named Frankie, so shout out and appreciation. He had suggested the topic talking about how to tell a fake psychic versus a real one. So fake psychics versus real ones is the topic that I'm going to talk about today. My thoughts are extensive, multifaceted, and I have to thank Frankie, the one who commented, to suggest this topic because, the depth of exploration and enormous amount of, complexity and thought that came through during this exploration of that topic. Very many layers to it. So many layers that were explored in preparation to do this, video, to put this out. So, so much so that it made me come to one of my very profound self-professed truths. My personal self-realization long ago that, every single one of us on earth actually has the capacity to be quote unquote a real psychic or use spiritual gifts and psychic awareness or metaphysical, abilities, etc. But the conclusion I drew, even though of course I'm going to explore deeply diving into the layer details on the different spectrums of what I feel could be considered a fake psychic or a real psychic so that you can reflect and come to your own conclusion. But, I feel in summation that in its entirety, what it really is when you are a quote unquote fake psychic, it's a deliberate act of deceit and negative intent that these quote-unquote fake psychics project. And they do this to swindle or trick naive souls or, do this to regular people with a manipulation, with a lack of intuition. So someone who is able to intuitively know how to manipulate others and make others believe in their abilities, whatever they may be, most definitely, I believe, possess the gifts profoundly of psychic awareness. They're just deliberately not using it or blocking it. Perhaps this is subconscious. I don't know. For those who purposely bullshit people as a spiritual healer or psychic guide, meaning maybe these so-called fake psychics, those who are maybe lazy or don't do the important spiritual work required or practice and, connect with spirit, practice the connectivity with the divine. Those who use other legitimate healers perhaps or identical content off of the web or other people's exact messages, copycat syndrome, on purpose type of thing, just lazily relying on another soul family member in the collective to basically provide the pertainable, relatable, resonating messages that they're giving their clients, right? They give these on-point messages because if they're listening to someone who really is channeling, they're going to be divine and true. So I think that it is all with these fake psychics, just an act of, lower vibrational state, basically, and a projection of negative intent and deceit, a state that not only is a negative, projection, but a negative energy space, and, it will actually decrease that person's own abilities and any true opening to spirit or psychic awareness, because of course when we are willing to deprive ourselves of the positive purity of love and light and this kindness and compassion of trying to help someone with integrity and out of your heart, if we are vibing at a lower frequency, basically we begin to become more disconnected to the divine and detached from spirit. I feel even if this person, the fake psychic who does these inauthentic or stolen content sessions, does not even recognize that within themselves, even though they are cheating the system of divine guidance, that they do actually possess the incredible capability of actually being of service, a quote unquote real psychic. We can all tune in. It's just, in my opinion, in summation, whether we are open to it, practice using the skill set, and, don't take deliberate actions to deceive people, which to me is the bigger picture. So now let's talk about specific types of what, I think can be labeled as fake psychics. And then I will take a deep dive into what it looks like to receive energy, a truly divinely gifted experience from a psychic or a spiritual healer. So most imperatively, I think this is the message that's so important to whomever can resonate, that, you yourself can tune into higher source of energy and these, divine given gifts, and you yourself can then become more intuitively guided to tell if you are observing someone or an expensive, experience that is authentic, or one that is completely a facade. There are many websites nowadays, and back in the day, I don't know if you guys are old enough, but there were these phone numbers, like 900 numbers, infamously one called Miss Cleo's psychic hotline, right? They had commercials everywhere where you could call for psychic guidance. So, this is my take on that, on whether these 1-900 numbers, dial a psychic up or whatnot, or websites are legit. Just to make the point, as in life itself in general, different spectrums and different experiences, we can, really sometimes get caught up with stereotypes, and that is not fair. So we are not here, it is not an enriching part of our lessons or spiritual journey to unfairly stereotype or group a number of individuals the same. So that being said, I do not think that we can or cannot say with any certainty that every person who works as a psychic hotline advisor, via phone call or the web, is either legitimately channeling or deliberately reading some sort of pre-scripted menagerie, or just really not tapped in, giving the person manipulation in order to keep them maybe on the line longer to get more money, that kind of thing. So that being said, I would have to say, more often than not, sites that offer overpriced generic experiences or hound you incessantly for their services via email or something like that, or they ask you for money for services, especially those companies or psychics online who send emails of untruthful threats. Like, this is what I consider to be a fake psychic. Someone who would say things like, if you do not consult with me immediately, spirit tells me that you will be cursed, right? I think that is baloney. Or things like, I am the only one that can assist you with this. If you act now and book a reading with me, you will get a lump sum of money that will be 6 figures 3 days after our session. If you don't, you'll be forever broke. Those kind of things that are professed, I really feel that is what I consider to be an example of a fake psychic experience. I think that, fake experiences can be seen if you observe, if this person or, company, psychic advisor, hotline, whatever it is insistently pushing you to get their reading and letting you know that if you do not, it's bad luck or bad news or bad omen, that sort of thing. You can always do the work yourself. You can always do work, shadow work, or you can, absolutely go to any, in my opinion, any healer that's legit. You are not going to be cursed because you don't go to a person. And I feel that is a straight indicator that person is, quote unquote, what Frankie was inquiring about, a fake psychic. I also feel, however, that many, many, many reputable, beautiful souls, talented, spiritually woke individuals are online, and perhaps even, of course, via those psychic hotlines as well. But there's always good people amidst everything, right? There are people who tap in genuinely and provide healing through psychic ability, etc., in every single arena of life, actually. You don't have to label yourself a divine spiritual healer by profession or whatnot to be a quote-unquote real psychic. But those who I consider real psychics have one or a few themes in common. They use their naturally elevated higher state of consciousness to soothe, not scare, and to help, not hinder, to heal, not, tear down in order for that person to feel like they need more assistance, right? Or to be someone of integrity, basically, is the commonality, who does not ever, obstruct their clients or the person they're trying to help. They don't just obstruct the path of anyone. Instead, a quote-unquote real psychic walks along the path as a guide, as a consult, as a conduit, and a positive force, in that person's soul journey. Quote-unquote fake psychic people would never do any of that, and they would also not be able to be at a profession such as a nurse or a doctor or a disease specialist, something like that, because with the physical body, let's say if it suffers an abrupt type of accident or inflicted damage, there is no cheating or faking to heal that physical vessel, that person. No easy route out, just the ability to intervene immediately and imperatively, unless that person will die, right? So they need to use their skill sets. The real doctor, nurse, a fake doctor could not do this. That will help that person heal their physical body, not hinder them. So the personality type that would conduct any business with a known agenda for deceiving clients to obtain just wealth is found in, for sure, the spiritual and psychic community, yet also, I think we can all agree, found just about everywhere, right? That the circumstance will allow for. So for example, metaphorically, just like, again, a doctor performing, let's say, a surgery, brain surgery or something just mundane, surgery on the ankle. You cannot fake it. If you have not been trained, if you have not practiced this skill set, you will do so much more damage than good, right? And same analogy with the hairdresser. A stylist would never get their career going, clients or additional clients, via word of mouth. If they faked their way and didn't go through school, had no idea, never had cut hair or permed or colored. This also is an arena which, phony negative tactics cannot be used, because in these scenarios, we are able to perceive it with our eyes. It's, perceptionally visible. However, as you know, with psychics or people who are trying to work with you as a life coach or spiritual healer, we cannot visually see it, perceive it, if they are authentic or not, assisting people. But that is only because we're looking with our two physical eyeballs, right? Like, we would observe a fake surgeon kill a patient on day one, or, a client of a non-trained hairstylist. We'd see this person's hair destroyed or burned off from something gone wrong, right? With psychics, if we want to, or healers, if we want to tell if someone is posing, being non-authentic, doing spiritual work with good intent or ill intent, we must look with another eye. We must look with our third eye. So, our being must assess this, not our mind or our actual two physical eyeballs. So we must follow these kind of cues of our internal compass, our intuitive guidance, as to notice. So important for you to notice yourself when someone is faking the front, trying to help you, heal you, or be a psychic guide. In any area of life, actually, when we allow our third eye to open wide and rely upon our higher self, then we begin to see really clearly, and just, we get this feeling, or a knowing, I call it, a knowing, that anyone, including a psychic, you can tell if they are wearing a false mask, if they are putting on a front. So just as in the beginning of this video, guys, I said everyone is able, every single being on this planet and universe is able to use psychic gifts, I believe. So if you want to sharpen your abilities, that is what I would recommend, to tell yourself a fraud from someone who is actually authentic. Try your hand at intuitive work if you want to tune in, even just to open your third eye enough to sense instantaneously when anyone, or a psychic for that matter, is acting with ill intent or deceit. There are things in deliberate exercises and things that you can do, right, to practice this practice makes perfect with any set of abilities. So you yourself can explore ways to open yourself more to this knowing, with spiritual concepts like, for instance, getting or seeking out some sort of really, really evolved veteran shaman, veteran advanced spiritual teacher, coach, doing the work too that this person advises to do, following their prescribed experience or protocol, or doing the activities with intent that you are authentically wanting to really believe and absorb, right? That the shaman or ascended master has suggested to you. Those people will guide you and provide you with their knowledge base of ancient wisdom to inform you of spiritual knowledge, and then also interact with you so that you will relate to them, things that are coming to you. And that is how it kind of builds, of ways to ascend and evolve your psychic awareness and connectivity to the divine. They can guide you. One of the most important things that I do on a daily basis several times a day, not just to center myself and stay calm, but to connect and practice that relationship with the other side, is meditation. So meditate. Buddha did it. Jesus meditated. Bruce Lee meditated. Albert Einstein, right? Meditated. Leonardo da Vinci did meditation. So being one with our beingness is super important. Becoming so relaxed within a meditative state that this allows us to have amazing breakthroughs and connectivity is imperative. So I would suggest doing like a 30-day, every day, at least, even 5 minutes. I would suggest 20 minutes a day of meditation. But it blows the mind, the infiltration of the non-meditated soul, of this infiltration of this incessant anxiety or thoughts of any kind of catastrophic thoughts. This all vanishes temporarily when we meditate, and then takes the edge off for the remainder of the time period. When you meditate, that vanishes, those unnecessary thoughts basically, and you're then left only with the stillness, to sit in that stillness and silence. And instead of manifesting or harboring your own kind of self-inflicted wounds, or harboring any kind of programmed things too, thought processes that were forced or impinged upon you as a child or otherwise, right? So you manifest the understanding of source when you meditate, of higher consciousness and higher conscious states. We allow the energy to generate a knowingness without deliberately thinking about it, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's hard to eloquently, for me, put it into words, but again, meditate, guys, especially after you've had to concentrate. We all need concentration, of course, but sometimes, like Albert Einstein or Leonardo da Vinci, we see productivity and profound breakthroughs when we meditate or are in the void. When we are mindfully working out equations and sometimes concentrating and pushing too hard, sometimes that aha pivotal moment of discovery, maybe creation or stroke of genius doesn't come then. It comes not when we force ourselves to, concentrate, but when we meditate, slipping into the void of beingness. So during meditation, we allow the flow, we accept the flow, we invite the flow, and honor what comes to us rather than what we project, other people project, or that we attempt to force and request to be a concentration. Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, many people in history had an aha moment or several, during these meditative states. Albert Einstein was infamously on that train. He and others, including, again, Da Vinci, would also use ritualistic meditative practices to further their particular talents or what they were seeking. Like, for instance, nightly, this is something you can do as well. Sit in the stillness, lay down in the dark. Leonardo da Vinci would gaze at a candle, flickering flame, letting the wisdom that was being downloaded that he wasn't seeking, but what was coming to him from source, inspire, inform, or enable him to achieve astonishing things. So meditate, guys. Candles, stare, at the flickering light. Put on maybe a video on YouTube of guided meditation to take you through. Try perhaps hypnotherapy, even regressive therapy. Those things all bring you closer to source and ascend you higher to higher vibrations. You can also, which I do a lot of and have since the onset of the major spiritual awakening and my journey with healing elements, you can read books. I know there's a lot on the internet, but there's some great books out there. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. There are, Teresa Caputo, she's a medium. There is a variety of different topic spectrums that are in the spiritual realm that all have to do with the same connectivity. So you can read books, you can search YouTube or the internet for, descriptions of even other people's experiences and how they've ascended further and higher. And you can soak up at the same time as validation. You can soak up hints and tips on things that perhaps would work for you, right? Another thing I feel is super important is be open to signs, guys, of any kind. Any authentic or quote unquote real psychic is going to be obvious to you because they are going to pick up on signs and speak things to you that are going to be no way, no how a coincidence. And so that is how truly, with signs and synchronicities and specifics that someone tells you, that means they are genuinely tapping into spirit and pulling that out for the purpose of what real healers and psychics try to do, to help you instead of hinder you. So instead, guys, of dismissing everything that, stops you in your tracks or makes you take a second look or take note of its particular quote unquote coincidental vibe, don't dismiss that pause, sit in it. Don't suppress that wonder. Write down, I suggest, the signs, synchronicities in your journal, or at least acknowledge them in a non-skeptical way, that they are what they are. They are synchronicities. They are sent to us from the divine. These signs are for our life path, a divine purpose to guide us, to encourage us, to validate us. So allow yourself to be open to signs, synchronicities, and they will become, of course, more abundant and flow more and more. Einstein, by the way, shout out, shares my birthday, March 14th, and I agree with, and I'll leave you off, guys, with this classic quote that is really relevant here for this topic. Albert Einstein said, quote, "Coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous." Love the way that Pisces put it. Maybe it's because I'm on the same day, but that, my friends, was my view about fake psychics, quote unquote, versus the real deal. Guys, I hope you enjoyed my take on it, my thoughts, brought to you with a lot of love, a lot of positive intention from a real deal Holyfield spiritual practitioner and psychic. I wish you nothing but blessings, love, and light, and really want to take this time to say thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to be authentic and speak my truth and assist you and guide you to speak yours as well, guys. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Shani with Healing Elements, wishing you an abundance of positive energy and love, guys. Bye-bye.